What's going on, everybody? It's Childish back at the game, coming at you with another Summoners War video. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the monster balance patch that just recently dropped here. Comptos has thrown in a couple of curveballs, and we're going to be talking about it today. In today's video, we're going to be doing something different. We're not going to do the typical go through the list because you guys already know kind of what's going on. It's been out here for 24 hours, but we're going to do what I like to call the ones to watch. We're going to be taking a look at about 5 to 6 units that are really going to impact the meta in a big way. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And in order to help me out with that is a person that needs no introduction, the 2023 Summoners War commentator of all time, Mr. Stoic's in the house here. What's going on, bud?
What's going on, Childish? What an intro, huh?
Yeah, you like that.
My intro I got to do for America's Cup. That was the big speech, dude. I was so nervous.
Oh, I bet you were.
That was like, so the first time I ever had to do anything like that too. So man, it put me on edge. It was kind of funny doing like the rehearsals for it because I was like trying to hype myself up. So I was like super nervous.
Oh yeah.
And then it didn't work because then the second they started counting in we were going live for Americas, I was like 5, 4, 3, 2,
yeah.
and I like wanted to pass out on the ground already as we go into like the live show. It was horrible.
It was good.
I'm glad it came out well. You know,
it was really good, man. You did an absolute job here, which of course I've already talked to you about, but. Anyways, I appreciate you guys all clicking on the video. And once again, if you guys like to see these kind of collab videos done with myself and Stoic or anybody else out there, as always, give me a like, give me a follow, and hit that notification bell so you guys know when the next video drops here. Without further ado, my man, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's talk about the first unit that really is what everybody's talking about, the Light Horse here. This is definitely pretty much number one on the list here as far as an impact-changing unit. I kind of have some mixed feelings about it, but I'll let you get at it first.
Yeah, so there's a lot of players using this light horse, especially going into like worlds already. Like, I don't know how many people that have that light horse in the European Cup, because I think it's European Cup, and then of course the APAC Cup left to confirm players going towards worlds. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing a Widget in the APAC Cup. Well, yeah. You know what? Maybe not with the changes, but we'll see. It's still gonna be an okay unit. Bringing back that like HP recovery from a 10% to a 5%. Obviously it says max being remained at 30% still, based off of the amount of harmful effects granted on the allies. Like this is still a good thing, and this is like where a unit like Seimei was, you know, ultimately shining, and people are looking for nerfs for Seimei is because like there's just so much healing there, and this was like that thing that just people keep forgetting about when the light horse makes it into a match. You're applying all these negative effects, and it's just a ton of healing, and you're like forgetting like what is going on here, and just making this unit just more and more you know, oppressive throughout the match. So like the healing is going to go down, but honestly, it's not going to be that bad because like people already forgot about it in the first place. So that's not the biggest change here. Obviously, the change is going to be in the attack bar from 10% dropping down to a 5%, maximum 20%. But it's still good. This still has a great first skill for that attack bar pushback, which is super great. We're still going to see it. Still 24 speed lead. Still synergizes really well. This is definitely gonna. It's part of the combination. I mean, it was Laura Widget. It was the combo.
It was the nasty combo.
It kind of got in a little bit of trouble now. But I think we're still gonna see Widget. He's not dead by any means. He's not a dead unit.
No, and I think that's one of the reasons why we still want to pick about, because again, if we're talking about like the top 5, top 6 like units, like the ones to watch here. Obviously, we got to talk about this unit because it's a big change since the recent SWC. But the thing of it is that since it doesn't really, you still have the beneficial, you still have all these like combinations of things in play. I think it still is not going to change the way people draft. I still think people are going to include it, and you may make an argument for people to utilize units like the Elitical Core with it to get the extra beneficial effects to get that, you know, max stacks. That being said, though, I still feel like it's like a kind of a ragdoll per se. It may have gotten a little nerf, but it's still a strong unit, and it's still going to get played out there, basically.
Yeah, they tuned it down. It's a lot better than taking away. I know a lot of people, maybe not a ton of people, but I'm gonna call them out anyway. Zigbear actually really wanted to see the HP recovery. He's like, just remove that, keep the attack bar the same. Because if you keep the attack bar the same, Light Horse still stays as a top tier LD Nat 5. Right. But then that like little dark horse thing, like the healing, if that had been removed, you know, keep the amount of attack bar. But I think the amount of attack bar is like what made it like super insane. Because you're synergizing it so well with everything. So I get it. They tuned it down, which I think is fair. Just like you said, you know, ragdoll. Like you just got tuned down to a spot where things seemed appropriate. Now I know Comptos is really bad about revisiting units. So let's say maybe they tuned it way too far back. You know, I don't see them really going back to units. I mean, ragdoll was never addressed in even Ada was not that I think Ragdoll or Ada should get readdressed at
You know
all.
you want it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
please. But yeah, they didn't take something away to make people feel like they just gutted it. Bringing
Right.
people back to like Gurkha, where they just straight up took the heel away, and now where's Gurkha today?
Right. Well, speaking about, was it? I'm gonna say Gurky to unit here. Nerf for the unit to know, and we gotta get into this new one here, the Light of Cold Curl, that everyone's been talking about here. Recent change, right attack speed from 2 to 1 turn, and then of course the stripping going from 50 to 35% for the remove beneficial effects. Give me your brutally honest thoughts about this one.
The 120 base speed stripper with the stun, second skill, first skill, additional turns off of the sleep is almost a dead unit in my eyes right now.
Oh
Looking
man.
at looking at 50% chance, that was your ability to strip, and like people who said, yeah, Laura's still not that consistent. Well, if that was your saying about Laura before, that she wasn't consistent, well, she's not going to be super consistent anymore
That's
by any
right.
means. Like 35% chance is rough.
Yeah.
Like it's is it crazy to see like a nerf like this on the Light of Cult Girl at a 120 base speed LD Nat 5 that they would
Mm.
hit it from a 50 down to a 30, 35?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was talking about too. And it's a 35, but they do got the harmful effect rate to improve it. So again, 3 chances to hit right. It is nice, but it's still going to be unreliable. So they're going to have to make sure that they have a second strip to kind of back it up there for sure if they use it.
Yeah, I mean, so many times I see like, I'm not seeing top tier players talking about how inconsistent Laura is. You see Laura all over the place, but there was spots where I saw people saying that that third skill was very inconsistent, and
Yeah.
I think it only gets worse for those players for sure.
Yeah.
At 35% chance. So dare I say Laura's dead? Well, when you're drafting her because of that 120 base speed for her to take turn 1 and to land that skill 3 strip with a ton of additional damage, you'll get the additional damage, but you're missing the really really important part is
Right.
the strip.
Got to have the strip, indeed. All right. Let's take a look at the next one here, which I want to say out of the 5 that we're going to be talking about, I think this one is my like top one to watch here. I gotta give a shout out to Smicer, the wind, what is that, Puppeteer here. Big change on that passive, if I can find it already down here. Where is it at? Yeah, ventriloquism passive that removes or adds a stripping effect on this one with the highest attack bar, with a 40% chance at the start of each turn. Now, mind you, it is a 40% chance. It's not super reliable, yeah, but it is a pretty crazy addition nonetheless. Stoic, what do you think about that?
Right, it's so funny to talk about the 40% not being super reliable, where Laura gets dumped down to a
Right,
35. It's
right,
like, yeah, ventriloquist, it's not that reliable as a strip, and here we are looking at Laura,
right,
who just pretty much got gutted. Uh,
right.
I love it. I love it. Added effect down to him because this is like one of the biggest problems with the Puppeteer was like you had to bring other things to make him work.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of helps him help himself more importantly, because it's really tough when you draft 4 units. Let's say like something gets sniped out, and maybe it was like your main stripper, and you didn't have much else. It's like Puppeteers or Smicer's trying to land a bomb, but if he's too consistent with getting immunity up there,
Yeah.
like what's he supposed to do at this? And then also being able to apply a silence is massive. Let's just say
Mm-hmm.
like the unit that gets, stripped silence is like the Wusa of the team.
Right.
And then you get to plant a bomb on it. So now that it's silence, can't get the immunity up, 2-turn bomb lands and then bomb detonates. And like this is a lot of utility for Smicer. I love this change. I think it's great. I wish I had more dedication to this unit when it first came out, because I had done this with like a lot of units, but I didn't feel I thought Smicer was going to get something crazy. I don't think this is like that. Like I can't believe they added a strip to it.
No. Yeah.
But I thought it was going to be more, because I once I pulled a Smicer was trash. I fully deviled on him, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna make Smicer work. I couldn't make Smicer work. It was just too bad. And ultimately, I think the strip is really, really, really big. And that's what's going to make him, more viable to play with. I'm not going to say super viable. I'm going to say more viable.
Yeah.
But I like it. I think this is a great buff for him.
Like I said, I think he's going to be a wild card in there. And again, for all those people out there that are like, oh my God, you just gave everybody a free Celia. Like we didn't. Like the activation is a 40% chance. It's not super reliable. It is nice nonetheless. I would have liked to see like a 50% chance, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. I'll take a 40% chance for a passive strip silence there. And don't get me wrong here, the silence is a 100% activation. I'm assuming you get through the accuracy resist check. So at least that's still relatively reliable on that. And again, I'm guessing that people are going to be bringing in other units out there to provide strips in addition to They're not just going to bring him to rely on the strips. They're going to have something to back it up just in case his beneficial effect remover doesn't go through. So
Yeah, keep in mind this Cursive Apple, they could have buffed this Wind Puppeteer to get the additional turn, just like CR with that. You know what I mean? Like they could have done something super dirty because
yep.
that would have had huge synergy with ventriloquism. But I do think you put this unit on violent, because you want to get that passive to proc as much
Yep.
as possible. So this unit can be pretty crazy on violent. I love the first skill as well. Increases your attack bar by 20%. So if you don't have a bomb to put up there, at least you got a little bit of attack bar
Mhm.
to gain, which is really, really cool. Maybe if you have a Jackson,
Yeah,
like
I don't want to hear it.
someone here, let's get a nice
This guy.
50% increase of attack bar there on Smicer. So I think Smicer's going to get some action for me. I'll be
He's good.
playing a
He's
little bit of
definitely
this
going to get
unit.
some action. Yeah, he's going to get some playtime,
Mhm.
baby. He's going to get some playtime now. I'm looking for the next one. Here it is, right here. Monado, the Water Shadowcaster. What a ridiculous change, in a good way, right? I'm happy for the community
Yeah.
that can't really deal with all these cleaves coming out here to play. Now you guys were able to stun it originally. Now you can't do that anymore here. So the effect added on the passive, being able to be under immunity when you're under the Shadow's protection. Of course, it's not going to be happening all the time, but that's still a pretty big change nonetheless.
Yeah, the shadow protection when that big ghostly hand grips the shadow caster. So that's when he's under that shadow protection there. So he's gonna come up. He already came off as one of those like solo units where Monado gets drafted and just like, yeah, people are doing stuff and like somehow Monado just goes and solos it. Sadly, this is gonna get added to like the draft of people. Like just today, I actually have a replay of I queue into a special league
Hmm.
and immediately they take the full time in the pre-ban. They take the full time on the first pick, and it was like Juno, Leica, Fang Yen, Douglas, and what was it, Molly? And I was like, this person just straight up wanted to just let his phone auto to see if like
Yeah.
we'd give up or he would just get an automatic win. And Monato's going to get added to this patty of units that
Yep.
have the potential of soloing because that's what it is, man. You can't stun this unit when he gets under the shadow protection, and he's going to be a problem, man. He really is.
Yeah, yeah, really, really cool unit. I love him. I love him. Let's see here. What do we got next? Oh, this is the one that you recommended. It's a nice little sleeper unit that people probably not looking at. A kind of a free to play unit if you think about it. A 4-star unit that recently got changed. The Fire Ivor or the Mercenary Queen here. Really cool change to the passive.
Yes. So Fire Ivor with the defense break, 2 turns, first skill to multi-hit. You have another multi-hit with the second skill with a chance to stun. And then you have this like crazy healing passive skill with Fire Ivor. I really, really liked this unit when it first came out. Base speed's not even bad. It's like a 103 base speed. So like this is a super playable unit. By the way, Comptuous versions of this unit are sick. I love the
Hmm.
detail. Love the detail in the weapon as well. Very, very cool animations. This is a very, very cool unit. It's like I wish to see a little bit more where they gave more consistency to a first and second skill because I think the main reason why the Fire Avor Mercenary Queen why she struggles is just that first and second skill. It feels like it doesn't exist. You got this multi hit to do absolutely nothing, no defense break, no stunning, none of it. But now we're gonna get more HP recovery. It's gonna feel like this unit's doing a lot more damage as well. And there is some combinations when it comes to threat state and provoking, which there's a lot of provoking going on in the meta, especially with all the
Hmm.
cigar play out there right now. The cigar being drafted as like a top pick right now, especially when it comes to like that APAC region,
Hmm.
maybe even into Europe. I think cigar's taken a lot of priority in the Europe region as well. That right there is just going to buff this unit's damage. We could be seeing some big things out of this 4-star unit.
Hmm.
Like I said, I think she's very, very good. I just wish the consistency of first and second skill was a lot better.
Yep, couldn't agree more. Super excited to see this damage increase change. I hope the multipliers are pretty sound so we can actually make an argument to mess around with it here. There's a lot of fun, kind of solo-y type of units that people have been playing around with, and now we got one more to add to the mix. Looks good.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, speaking about solo units that we add to the mix here, right up top, Fang Yen getting a little bit of love here. A nice little change here, not only for RTA but just any PvP, right? Guild, siege, whatnot. He's going to be a nice little reduction on the damage there.
It is, according to his defense, of course, and everyone's ruining up at Feng Yen pretty high. Like I myself, I just ruined it up this morning as well, getting prepared for the balance patch to hit.
Hmm.
But I'm rocking almost 20 plus 2200 defense on my Feng Yen with around 30k. Of course, we got to have him around the 200 speed era, max resistance with a handful of accuracy to be able to do get those defense breaks and
Yeah.
land them. But the fact that he's going to receive less damage is huge
Yep.
because you take Fang Yen in these areas where they're not drafting damage, they're drafting control, and it's a lot of like AoE, probably attack bar manipulation as well. But if you're hitting him, he's still gaining attack bar. There was no change to the passive, it was just an addition. He's gaining the effect of where he's just becoming more tanky based off of his defense. I think Fang Yen's always been like a great unit.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
hasn't been a standout unit because I mean defense break does exist.
Right.
But I think he's very, very good in that like late end of a draft. So I think Feng Yen, we're gonna see a lot more of him compared to before. Like I said, defense break still a problem for him, of course.
Yeah.
But I do think on the back end of it, if it calls for it, Feng Yen could be an absolute monster.
So yeah, I think that's our big top five that we got going for. But we did want to make we want to put a little shout out again for the Cold Girls here because it's just something that you can't really talk about. Probably should have talked about once the Lord drop, but it's all good. The recent change on the Help Me Teddy after this crazy RTA match that we just saw here at the SWC America. So holy cow, they've limited the sleep here. What's your thoughts about that, Stoic?
My poor Nikki. I didn't think it was gonna
Oh,
happen, man. They nerfed Nikki somehow, and it's up to 2 times that you're able to sleep a target. Now, obviously, you can violent proc still
right.
and kinda reset those. Um, that's such a rare occasion, though. Like, honestly, it's a pretty rare occasion that you're even getting those sleeps, but, it does happen. Everybody has those replays where Help Me Teddy comes out, gets a quad sleep. Even I've gotten the quad sleeps before drafting as much, Nikki Annabelle as I have. But it's the way it should be. To be honest with you, it's kind of like Diana limiting her chance to cycle. Like it's a must.
Yep. But what about, I mean, to kind of put it into perspective, what about what about like a unit like Orion? If I recall correctly, Orion still has a 30% chance to proc, but I don't think there's any limiting factor on that. So I'm taking a look at it right now on the first skill. Yeah, it gets another turn with a 20% chances. So essentially, units like the occult cores are limited, but Orion can still go beast mode and proc
Yeah.
up a storm. So I'm curious to see if they're going to look at other units and kind of balance it out across the board. The units that have that kind of RG effect here, but yeah, that's something to think about as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't do too much guild content myself, so I don't know how much brownie magician actions going on out there outside of ATA because obviously it's not a ton. Like you still see a lot of Draco. That I think that's like one of the brownie magicians you see a lot
Yep.
of. Where they're still, using that first skill, getting a bunch of turns, cycling back in
Yeah.
for those like cleave style of play. So that still exists, but I feel like Comptos is just showing attention to the stuff that people are drafting and people are seeing often.
Yeah.
But you're very right. I feel like if you did it to Diana where she's cycling turns, if you're gonna do it to the occult girls where they have the ability to get additional turns, like there's no reason why you don't give attention to other units that have that ability to just take as many turns as they want,
Hmm.
all based off of chance. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know why. What is it? Run, fly, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Run. Yeah. Fly
Yeah,
is the
run.
second skill, but that's pretty good that you remember that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. So again, fam, this is our list, our top 5 lists of units that are the ones to watch, the ones that are going to be making the most impact here in the upcoming couple of weeks here as we get up into the Europe Cup, the APAC Cup, as well as the World Finals. This will be going down in Bangkok, Thailand. Thank you guys again so much for watching. And once again, Stoic, shouts out to you for coming on board to doing this video. I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Anytime, man. Anytime for you.
All right. That's going to be it, fam. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's your boy Childish and Stoic with Childish Plays checking out. Take care, and we'll see you all in the next one. We're out.